Sure. Maybe just stepping away from the UNRWA issue per se. I wonder if you had anything to say about the Israeli strike today in Gaza. I think the latest death toll that we've reported is nearly 100 by eyewitness accounts. Many, if not most, appear to be civilians, children. I know you don't speak for the government of Israel, but as Israel's, you have anything to say about this?
We are deeply concerned by the loss of civilian life in this incident. This was a horrifying incident with a horrifying result. I can't speak to the total death toll, but there are reports of 24 children killed in this incident. No doubt a number of them are children who have been fleeing the effects of this war for more than a year now. We have reached out to the government of Israel to ask what happened here. We don't yet know the underlying circumstances. We have not gotten a full explanation from them about what happened. But you step back and look at where we are in this campaign. We are a year into the government of Israel's military campaign in Gaza. And Israel has decimated Hamas's military capabilities. It has decimated Hamas's leadership. It has, through its military action, ensured that Hamas does not have the ability to repeat the attacks of October 7th. And all of that, getting to here, came at great cost to civilians in Gaza, which is, of course, often the case when civilians are caught in the crossfire in conflict. And so that tragic cost to civilians continues today, quite notably in this strike, which seems to have claimed significant civilian life. And it is another reminder of why we need to see an end to this war.
And so why we need to see, I mean, the Secretary himself also said it last week that he thinks that Israel's strategic goals have largely been met. I mean, so why carry out strikes like this, and what's the utility at this point?
So you have to take that question to the government of Israel. So I will say that as the Secretary said, yes, their strategic goals have largely been met. Now, there is a strategic goal that remains incredibly important, and that is to return all of the hostages. But as you have heard any number of leaders in our government speak to for some time, from the President to Secretary Blinken to Secretary of Defense Austin, it is critically important, not just to the people of Gaza, but to Israelis and to Israel's own security, that Israel be mindful of achieving larger security, that Israel be mindful of achieving a larger strategic success, and that they be mindful of finding a way to end this campaign in a way that brings the hostages home and in a way that ensures their security, and not just continuing in an endless, perpetual conflict.
Just one more, and this has obviously been something you've been asked many times over the past year, but what is the U.S. going to do about it? I mean, the U.S. is obviously the major arms supplier to Israel, the major diplomatic supporter of Israel. You said that this incident is horrifying, and while you're trying to address and try to find out more information, what would be the consequences, if any, if the U.S. feels that this was without warrant? It's hard to say it's justified in any case, but if the U.S. decides that this was what it was.
Look, so not to get ahead of things, but when it comes to assessing any one individual strike, it's something that we have to be very deliberate about and take time to assess the underlying circumstances to decide whether there was any particular potential legal violation and what the implications of that would be. I will say what we are going to do about it, though, is to continue to try and end the war and continue to impress upon to the government of Israel the need to end this war, to continue to work with the other mediators, Egypt and Qatar, to try and find a way forward to end this war, and to continue to work with partners throughout the region and throughout the world to present a plan for what follows the war, which would give Israel the confidence that they don't need to continue an endless fight, that there would be actual security in Gaza that would provide security for Israel too, and so that they can withdraw their forces from Israel and know that there isn't an ongoing threat to Israeli civilians and to the state of Israel.